Okay, so in this second part, we will have a quick overview on how we use the app and how the app is designed. Um, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so this is about how we actually use the app to hone our leadership skills. And that involves a number of steps, and we will be um, addressing just the first step, which is very quickly interpreting the results, knowing that true interpretation requires, some reflection and some teamwork with colleagues and even conversations with your team. Okay, and so basically, once you get these results that you will see shortly, it's a matter of reflection. Don't jump to conclusions. This is just feedback. It's just data, right? And there are different ways of interpreting the graphs on the dashboard. And what is important is this is a tool to allow you to question. It will not provide you with immediate obvious answers of what you need to do. This is a tool that allows you to reflect and to interpret and to investigate what might need to happen if you want to improve the motivation on your team. And these reflections are useful reflections to have anyway, even if you don't have the tool. The advantage here is you can reflect on real data and go beyond just impressions and moods and ideas. More importantly, this data can be shared with other supervisors elsewhere, including in other countries. And we know that there are trends in the Red Cross, Red Crescent. We know that often we encounter the same types of motivational issues. So the idea is to create a global team of branch managers and volunteer supervisors who can look at the same data, use the same theory, and have a conversation using the same types of concepts and words that is meaningful in all these different contexts, and to help each other out interpreting the data from the different teams and testing different ways to address the issues that emerge from the interpretation of the MOTI data, and to test things out, to get more feedback and help each other out. So this is really a collective tool for many different people, many different supervisors to use in synergy and collectively, and to help each other out and really create a community of best practice around volunteering and leadership. At one point, there needs to be an intention on the part of the volunteer leader. What is it that I want to do? What is my intent when I want to be a better leader and when I want to increase the motivation in my team? So in a way, it's like a plan of action with different things you want to do, but it's also a personal plan that's about you and how you want to improve your own people skills using this system. And then how will I assess that what I have changed in my leadership style and in my management practices? How will I know that I am on the right track? Well, this is where you can field another MOTI survey, exactly the same one, maybe 2, 3, 4 months later, to see if there's a difference in motivational levels and if there's a difference in what motivates people in your team. And if your team has changed, if some people have gone and you have new people come in, it really doesn't matter, because the dashboard, the data that MOTI generates, is actually a snapshot of what is happening at the time of the survey. So it's fine if it's not even the same people. You will still get a snapshot of how people perceive your leadership skill and how that affects their motivational levels. So basically, this is very simple. We have those 3 conceptual blocks on leadership and management, satisfaction of basic needs, and the outcomes. And so for each of these blocks, you have a graph, a radargram, that where you see each spoke is a dimension in that particular category. So the only thing that we have is that we have both leadership and management, and these are actually different things. Management is about motivating people with training, with meetings, with different activities, by giving perhaps rewards and job opportunities even. That is really management, and a lot of the management depends on the national society and not necessarily on the team leader. It's a little of both. But what we also have is leadership, and leadership is really what we're describing here, which is about giving the space, the autonomy, the sense of belonging and competence. And that really depends on the leader himself or herself. That really depends on you as a leader. So this is why we have two dashboards, one which is about returns, status, and rewards, which is more about management and extrinsic motivation, and another dashboard which is more about leadership, which is creating those needs, answering these needs of autonomy, belonging, and competence, and it's about being understanding, being a good listener, and providing encouragement. And so soon, and I think as soon as we can do this with our own team, we will see the profiles. So we have here 4 different types of profiles. So each tab is a type of profile, the first on motivation. And then you have one on intrinsic motivation, or rather intrinsic motivators, so the factors that motivate people intrinsically. And then the extrinsic motivators, like the rewards and the returns, the trainings and things like that. And then the leadership motivators, which really reflects more your leadership style. And then each profile is graphed and separately. And then this is what Moto showed to you, the very light gray line, that is actually the respondent's profile. And this is actually a motivation, an incentive for people to respond, is they can actually see themselves, and only they can see themselves, right? The manager or the other team members cannot see your motivational profile, but you can see your own. And this means that actually, if you can actually, if you're asked to complete the survey in 3 months, you might want to see if your motivational profile has changed. And this is something that I personally do. So when I feel a little down, I use self-determination theory to assess my own feelings about my job and what I need to do to improve it. So this is actually a self-improvement tool also for the volunteers and not just for the leaders. We can discuss that more later. And so then for each motivation profile, I have the different dimensions. So in this case, you see fulfillment, and then I can see for fulfillment that here I'm scoring a 2 when the average at the Brazilian Red Cross here, for this example, is at 4. And so again, only the respondents can see his or her profile. Now for fulfillment, so we saw that fulfillment is that particular axis, that spoke. So fulfillment itself is the result of one question, which is considering everything, I am satisfied with my volunteer activity. So satisfied, I feel fulfilled. And now the respondents, as we saw, answered a 3. And so we can compare, the respondent can compare herself or himself with the rest of the team, because it is color-coded, right? So those that are very satisfied are here in green, and you see many in the data set, right? Many people in the team answered that they were very satisfied. Again, this is the Brazilian Red Cross, so don't take it into account. And so on. So clearly that respondent is way below average in terms of feeling fulfilled. And this, I believe, is the last slide. So some dimensions like well-being have 2 questions, so it's a summary and average of 2 questions. Other actually have 3 or 4 questions. You will be able to see when you press on the tabs, And again, you can compare yourself to what the others have answered. So there we go. So now, as we've pointed out, we are ready to test, and actually we are testing. Ideally, so we need to discuss, but we should have at least 20 responses per team, or else things start getting personal. And then the next we will do in the following meetings, I think. So again, we're counting on your feedback. I will send you also the link to the Learn to Change website, where I will be posting these videos and some of the resources. And here you already have, and I will be posting these resources too, some of the science. So these are papers that were in peer-reviewed journals, so they are accepted as being part of the science of self-determination theory. And you see the third one was written by Stefan Güntert, who is our scientific advisor for this system.